Hello, this will be part 6 of my Kit of the Month for January 2022, Truly Madly Deeply. In this video, I'm going to make 4 cards. Then I will show all of the cards that I've made from the kit and then show you what I have left over. Believe it or not, after making 34 cards, I still have extra material from this kit. On this card, I used some of the gold foil cardstock and matted that with some pink, kind of a pinky cream orange cardstock on top. And with this card, I took the stamp from the stamp set and stamped that big floral image onto just a white piece of scrap that I had, matted it on black, and fussy cut out the whole thing. I also used the stamp set to stamp the word always in the white frame. And I stamped that on some of the scrap pattern paper that I had. And I will also add in some of the more dark embellishments with the black and gold for the hugs and kisses, and lastly a piece of ephemera from the ephemera pack that says I choose you. And after looking at it, I do think that it does need a little bit of sparkle, so I'm going to add some of the sequins from the card kit to this card as well. I do like to have a lot of eye-catching elements to the cards, whether that's the gold cardstock or the gold foiling on the pattern paper or on the ephemera frame, or adding in some of the gems. It just kind of helps your eye move around on the card, which is kind of fun. And my jewel picker, you'll kind of see in the video, I don't know if it's just not sticky anymore or what, but it's been kind of giving me some trouble. So I wonder if I should just take some alcohol or something and kind of wipe it off. I do love the combination of the pink and the black and the gold from that card, so that was a really favorite of mine. Now I'm going to make a card with this almost diamond pattern paper, and it's almost one of those kind of patterns that you look at it and it kind of plays with your mind. So I wanted to break up that pattern and put something in the middle there. I don't know why I was flipping this card around so much, but I did. So I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. And I used the gold pattern paper that was a scrap from another card, and some of pink cardstock, and just made a little embellishment of my own there. And I'm just gonna adhere it with some liquid glue. And I took some of the plaid pink and just glued it to the frame. And I'm now going to put that centered on the pink cardstock. I do like how the pattern papers can work together, even though they aren't the same color or the same pattern. But here I have the stars, the plaid, and that optical illusion kind of background paper there. So it's pretty nice that it works together. And I'm going to add another one of those glitter foam tags onto the card. And I love using my tool-in-one here from Spellbinders to pick out those inside pieces of my foam lettering. Just helps to take them out quickly without having to pinch them out with my fingers. And I will just toss those off to the side. And when I put my hello sentiment down, it is helpful to use my little reverse tweezers just so I can get it somewhat centered or however I'd like it to be without having my fingers in the way. And if I just set it down kind of gently at first, I can then position those little loops for the L how I want. And I'm going to add a foam heart. And of course, some of the sequins. I usually have a pile of those in the right-hand corner of my desk all the time. It's amazing that I've put so many sequins on these cards, and I will end up with extras at the end, which will probably make their way into a shaker card of some kind in the future. I didn't make a sister card for this one because I already used that gold foiled white frame here in the last card. So maybe this one and the last one could be maybe fraternal twins of some kind. Who knows? With my next card, I'm going to use and kind of showcase the 2 words sweet love from the glitter stickers. So I'm going to adhere on some of my pink cardstock first, and then I will use some of that pink checkered pattern paper on my card. Sometimes lining up the card base takes me a while, so I think in future videos I'm just gonna do this step off camera, but for your viewing pleasure, me chopping paper. Anyway, for this card, I did use a scrap of some of the pink pattern paper, and then I put it on a white layer, and then put that gold and pink polka dot pattern paper on top of the white for a very layered card. And I think the sentiment sweet love with that bold glitter really is enough for the card to kind of be like the center. So sometimes having the sentiment be bigger like that is kind of a way to make a card kind of pop. And I wanted to kind of use the lines from the plaid paper there to line up that matted pattern paper. And this card would be kind of fun to give first Valentine's Day, or maybe as a engagement card, or I don't know. Sometimes you have to be creative with cards, and I really tried to not stretch out that S so much, but it popped right back to where it needed to be. And I didn't realize the W was by itself until it was off, but there that is. And the EET is all one piece. I probably should have used my tweezers for this, but I think that it worked out in the end anyway. Might be fun to have those foam glitter words another time in a different kit, because it's really easy to pop them on a card and kind of have that be the center. And those foam hearts are just easy peasy to pop on a card. And with all of the glitter from the words and the hearts and the gold foiling on the paper, I decided that I would not add any of the sequins to this card, but it would be fine, I think, if I went and added them later, maybe. I thought about it for a second and then decided not to. So that finishes that card off, and I'm going to make 2 more cards with the card kit. And I went ahead and matted 3 of the different pattern paper scraps that I had onto white cardstock, and I also matted that sentiment, that's a circle there, onto white paper as well. And using that blue pattern paper with the little white hearts I thought would give kind of a neutral background. And with these pattern papered scraps, I thought they were just really pretty and I wanted to still use them on a card. And with the matted white behind it, it still kind of looks intentional. Even though they're not really lined up, they're just kind of scattered, but lined up and scattered, if you will. And I really love the sentiment, "You will forever be my always." So I had to use that one from my card kit here. And here's the last piece. Really easy just to glue that down with some liquid glue. And press it. Then for "You will forever be my always," I decided to use some foam and pop it up for a little bit of dimension. I do like using up scraps from the card kit if I have pretty pattern paper that I don't want to go to waste, or just to go back into my stash, and I may or may not use them for a long time. So I will do this often if I have a neutral background, and then take some of those pattern papers and just mat them onto any white cardstock and just layer them up. And you could use a die cut machine if you wanted it to be more precise for different shapes. You could use circles and have, 3 circles and then a rectangular sentiment, or you could do all circles if you wanted. It doesn't have to be one set way, but I found if you look up card sketches on Pinterest, or I'm sure there's other blogs that you could look at, but on Pinterest is where I found some of them. You can look up card sketches and find things that are similar to this to really kind of inspire you to make different looking cards. Of course, I had to add some of the sequins onto this card to finish it off. And that will be the last step for this card. I like the way that turned out. Now, for my last card, I used a lot of the dies from the kit, but first I'm going to start with sticking some of the patterned paper onto my card base. That's the pink plaid again. And try to center it as best as I can, but if it isn't perfect, it's fine with me. And I had that longer scrap of that really pretty gold foil bold print there. So I'm going to just stick that right on top of the pattern paper and the card base. And it's going to overlap onto the white, and it's fine with me. And sometimes when I put on a strip, I like to kind of turn my card sideways so I can really see the edge to make sure that one edge is really lined up nicely. Put it on, grab my scissors, and lop off the top. Then I'll probably throw that little scrap away. And now I'm going to assemble my tag. Now I cut out the tag with three different dies. First is the one that cuts out the letters, "Fill Today with Love." And then the other die is just a basic tag shape that I use to cut out the gold. And I like the way that the gold peeps through on the letters there. Then I'm going to use my liquid glue and glue the gold cardstock onto the white tag, and I used a scrap of cardstock that I had to make the white tag. Then I used some pink paper to put on the top of the tag. It looks like that's stuck, so I had to take that off there and put some liquid glue, and it might kind of go through the holes, but that's okay. And I'm going to use my liquid glue again and put that right onto my card. And I have it kind of offset from the pattern paper just because it looked good to me. And I'm using some of that gold foam pieces, and I have the arrow there. Just put it on the top. And I did die cut out some pink hearts and flowers from the little dies, and just figured I'd use those as embellishments on this card because it does say fill today with love, so hearts it is. And I kind of move these around a bit because I didn't want two hearts next to each other, and then I decided to add some sequins to the mix too, just for some sparkle. I love how that gold foiling comes through those letters and it really helps to make things pop. Looks like I mixed up things in my brain and I used the glue to pick up the heart and the flower, but whatever. I'll just put that on. Sometimes that two-in-one can be helpful for popping out the centers of the sequins too. So I'm sure a machine makes those, and I don't know, sometimes when you try to glue them down, it just doesn't lay flat. And with my sequins, I did have quite a bit of glue popping through the center. So I figured I'd add a little bit more glue on the centers, like that. And take some of my rhinestones that I have and put 2 rhinestones on each sequin for a bit of bling. Now these rhinestones were from Amazon, I think is where I got them about a year ago. I think they might be listed as some kind of nail bling, but they work really well for cards, and I have quite a few left, and it's been a while. And that's my last card for the January 2022 card kit. So as promised, I'll show you the ones here that I made in this video. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 cards. I think of these 5, the one with the floral heart and the gold mirrored cardstock with the always right there is probably my favorite, just because of that gold cardstock. So I'm going to stack these all up together, and I am going to use a just regular black piece of cardstock just to set down so you can see the cards as I show them to you kind of quick. So you will forever be my always, the one I made today. This one, and I'll just show the rest of them. So of course, the ones that are on top are the ones I made today. I'll definitely be using that tag die again in the future. Now these cards were ones that I've already made. I loved the way that one turned out. I thought it was really cheerful. And a delicate duo with those two. Oh, a piece of ephemera popped out of that one. Must have forgot to put that in the center, but oh wow. And of course the dogs. So sweet. And the pink ones with the blue. I did like the way this turned out as well. Don't think I had too many cards from this kit that I didn't really like afterwards. And my lady guards with the Be My Galentine sentiment. Kind of fun. And these cards didn't make it into my second video because I'm still kind of new to filming, but they were still nice to make. That giant tag from the ephemera pack was kind of funny to see, but it turned out nice on the card. And I bumped that cardstock, but that's the way it goes. That little bug is so cute. I love taking road trips with my husband, so I might have to give that to him when we take another road trip. And this rainbow card is just really playful and probably will go to a teacher friend of mine. And this card was kind of fun with all of the gold foam stickers and the little envelopes. And that gorgeous pattern paper with the green and the pink. I wish that it did come with some kind of cardstock to match that green. And the lip paper, which I wasn't thrilled about at first, but I end up loving. So here I'm going to take all my cards, and I have 34. It's quite a handful of cards. My storage will have to increase. I don't have a spot right now in my storage for Valentine's cards, but I do have a spot for lovey-dovey cards, and I think some of these will end up in the Valentine's category when I make one, and one will end up more in the lovey-dovey side. So there are all 34 of my cards. I just got my card kit for February. So I'm going to start making some more videos with that. But I did want to show you what I had left over. So this is what I have left over for the stickers and ephemera. So the chipboard and the puffy stickers and the whole ephemera pack. Not that many. I did try to use everything that I could. So I will just return those back to my little storage solution that I have there. And if you want to see what that is, you could go to the Facebook group that I have linked in the description, and you could see what that looks like. Here are the remaining pieces of pattern paper that I have, and I could go back and add them into cards if I wanted to in the future. And of course, I am left with my stamps and dies, and I could reuse those stamps and dies for other projects in the future. But being that the card kit is $38.50, and I made 34 cards, it comes to just a little bit over $1 per card for value, and you're still left with dies and stamps at the end. So it's a pretty good deal. I will have a link in the description of the video if you wanted to become a club member. I do receive a little bit of a kickback if you use my link, so now you know. If you wanted to join the Facebook group, that link will also be in the description below. And I hope you come back for my next series, which will be from the February kit. Thanks!